Alright, new types, we're getting down to business with a dice roll. I roll an 11, my opponent rolls a 6. So I decided to go second, because that's generally what this deck wants to do. Does not always want to go first. I open a Wing Zero, a Hero, a Heavy Arms, a Wing Gundam, Merida, and an Underground Desert Base, and I decide that is not going to work. So I throw it back while my opponent keeps his hand and sets his shields down. My new hand is Charzaku 2, Wing Zero, Wing Gundam, Level 4 Kshatriya, and the Merida pair. I like that a lot more. It leaves me with a very clear and obvious, first couple turn game plan. Charzaku 2 into Level 4 Kshatriya, with the potential to pair with it if I need to get aggressive, in case they're aggressive, or if I draw maybe an Underground Desert Base or Close Combat to nuke something instead of the paired Kshatriya, the Merida pair, and I can hold Merida back for a level 5 Kshatriya. My opponent gives me the cuts. I quickly set down my, well, not so quickly, set down my shields. And we're just, shooting the shit as we usually do. Just some friendly banter here while we start our game up. And he's taking the first turn, so he does the very typical resource draw pass. I'm going to basically do the same, resource draw Heavy Arms and pass my turn. I'm going to find out if he's aggro here, because he's at level 2. And we find out extremely quickly that he is indeed aggro. He gets a Zaku 2 and Zaku 2. Two different ones, but a very good aggressive start for his deck. I get my Charzaku 2 down, and I prepare to lose a shield next turn, if not more. He is very clearly 1-year war as far as I'm concerned, and yeah. He plays out a Rick Dom, smashes my EX base, and then smashes the shield. Luckily for me, that wasn't a Char with Zaku, so we're not doing too bad there. We get ourselves up to level 4, and because it's a Zaku 2 that I can kill and not take out, or not lose my Char Zaku 2, I actually opt to play the Desert Base that I drew here. A bit of a sequencing error. I should have played the Desert Base first and then played the Kshatriya. But for the scope of this turn, it didn't really matter. Yeah, the damage to my Char Zaku 2, which I kind of forgotten. Mark the 6 cards in my hand on screen for you. So my opponent takes out my Char Zaku 2 with his Rick Dom, dealing 2 damage to my base from the breach. I actually whiff on this Char Zaku 2. Very unfortunate, but it did put some cards at the bottom, even though I would have liked to have seen the close combat. But I am actually very fortunate that those 3 were the ones that moved down, because it does set me up for the next one, for my top deck here. He plays a Corsica, gets a Tallgeese token, and then plays down another token, or not token, another Zaku 2, and then takes a swing at my base. I don't know what happened here. I'm just tired and dumb. That should have been 4 damage on my underground base. I do top deck the Kshatriya, so play that out. Ping the 2 units. And given that this was the end of a workday, I'm pretty sure I was just completely not focused correctly because I just tried to put my Marita in my extra deck. What are you going to do sometimes? I just reconfirmed that yes, I'm putting damage on those two, and I take a swing at his Corsica base, finish off the Charzak or the Tall Geese rather, and then I take out the Zaku 2 and put 2 damage on my Kshatriya and pass the turn. Looks like and I did correct the underground base once we noticed it, so, or I noticed it actually. So, we're good there. We're good there, guys. Don't worry. Keep myself honest. I'm a big old cheaty face, apparently. What can I say? So he plays out a Gundam, but doesn't have the Amuro pair. Instead, it's a Char pair. He debates if he's going for base or if he's going to go for the Kshatriya, and I think he does decide he needs to do some board clear, so gets rid of my Kshatriya. It's a trade up, so it's not the worst. And then drops down a gym. I get myself back to 5 resources on this draw. And just go for a very simple play of heavy arms out first. Take a look at my next card to see what I'm getting. I believe this one was a Wing Zero. I believe. Not 100%. We'll find out after I draw. I need to do a better job flashing that for the camera, guys. My bad. But knowing what my next card, I do decide that we are going to be dropping the Kshatriya in hand. But first, I, ping the gym and take out a shield. I drop the Kshatriya down, and I pass my turn. My opponent is at level 6 now. He drops another Gundam with a Char, which is, again, unfortunate for him. It also doesn't allow his gym to trade into my Kshatriya. It is only 4 attack to my 5 HP. So he decides, all right, and crashes into my base to break it. And then does the trade that he didn't want to do, which was Gundam into Kshatriya and Marita. And I'm very happy with how that card worked out. I got a token. I took out another unit. I got a paired pilot. Lots of card value on that Kshatriya. Very, very good value. So I drop down another underground desert base, get a goof from my shields. And I did end up having a Wing Zero off the top, which was the thing I left there. I play down the Wing Gundam, have a single resource up. There's nothing special there, no unit to play, so I decide we got to take out his gym. I hit it with heavy arms. I'm fumbling with this dice. I'm absolutely. I'm in shambles, chat. I take out his shield with a Kshatriya, and I pass the turn. The Wing Gundam is basically up to his Gundam there, and it's saying I'm going to kill at least 1 unit next turn that you have standing. So I'm in pretty solid control of the board right now in the game state. I've got an undamaged underground desert base up, and I have 3 shields. So he pings my heavy arms here, And we're kind of talking a little bit, and we do just kind of, realize he probably should put that on to my Kshatriya instead, just because of the potential trades, especially since he doesn't have another pinger. So, we swap it around, put 2 damage on heavy arm, or leave 2 damage on heavy arms and add another damage to Kshatriya so it loses to whatever needs to trade up to it. Plays a Jim and another Gundam, which is an easy target for me with that Wing Gundam up. I get a close combat, and I'm pretty happy with that, especially on my level 7 turn. So my game plan here shifts. Doesn't shift. It does mean I'm going to keep pressuring him. I'm going to set up for Wing Zero, and I drop Wing Gundam on the board. Now, I did make a misplay here. You're going to find that sequencing I mentioned earlier is going to be a problem. So I take a swing with Wing Gundam and blow up his Gundam and get punished when it flips a Corsica base. What I should have done was swing with Kshatriya or Heavy Arms and gotten that base, and then swung with Wing Gundam onto the Gundam. As I said before, I was tired. Not locked in whatsoever. Lucky this wasn't a new type challenge, because that was just bad sequencing. He should have been, based on that, at 0 shields. However, I have the close combat in hand, so the Gundam should be dead on this turn, and then anything left over should be with the Wing Zero. He has 1 card in hand, top decks a Show of Resolve, and gets 2 more cards in hand, making himself at 3, which is pretty good for him. Now, he also makes a bit of a mistake here. This should have been a little bit different. His units are powered up so that Jim is a 3 damage, or 3 attack. Trading into the Heavy Arms was correct. However, the Anksha should have gone into the Wing Gundam. And the Gundam should have gone into the Anksha. We also messed this part up where his Gundam died immediately, but it would have had 4 damage on it, bringing it down to 2 damage at the end of repair and still susceptible to Wing Zero. So it's not the end of the world in that regard, but it's still a mistake on both of our parts, and I didn't catch it. And I don't know why he thought it was dead, so I didn't question it at the time. Looking back at the footage, that's clearly not how that should have happened. But I did have the Wing Zero in hand. And the way he attacked into there, his Gundam was going to be dead. Also, if the Gundam didn't die and he attacked differently, I would have totally close combat. He searches with his Char Zaku 2. Doesn't whiff, luckily for him. Not the greatest card, but I take out his shield, and this should have actually just been a game swing. None of that fancy stuff should have mattered had I done that attack step correctly. I have another Wing Zero in hand. And he concedes. I get the GG, and we're talking about my misplays and his and things, so I do see the next card, yes, and it's another Wing Gundam, or Wing Zero rather. So I had the trifecta in hand. It just would have gone Wing Zero had the game gone any further. Alas, thank you all for watching, and hopefully you learned something, especially with all the fumbles, especially on my part. I think my opponent's combat math was, it was important, but it wasn't, how do you say it? It wasn't the end of the world, right? Like, again, I'm going to go back over this part here. He definitely should have traded that differently. However, had his Gundam swung into one of these, I had the close combat in hand, right? With the 3 resources up, and it just would have been gone. And I think that's very important to know for the future in case your opponent doesn't have close combat and can't kill your Gundam as a result, especially if I was going to Wing Zero it. So, and yeah, so with that in mind, I hope everyone has a good weekend, a good week. And if you have some new type challenges, again, give this deck a shot. I think it's got a really good game into the current meta game. if you see more misplays, because you know what, I'm not a perfect player, and clearly from this gameplay review or footage or whatever you want to call it, I am still making some massive misplays, despite doing well enough to win a couple new type challenges myself and do well at locals. Even in this game where I won, I still screwed up. I'm pretty good, and this is the type of review that I think everyone should do if they want to get better at games. I mean, obviously, not everyone has the luxury of a recording setup like I do, but even looking at games and looking at how sequencing goes to understand what went wrong, uh, that's very important to do as a player. And if you look at my footage and you see misplays and you see things that you would have done differently, I think it's still worth taking into account and comparing it to the way you play your own games. All right, this is the end of the video. Here's the deck list for you. Uh, Pause the screen if you want to copy it down, but it's still the updated Zeon Zero I just did a showcase and breakdown on. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out in the comments on either video. Until then, good luck on your missions, and let me know if you did pick this list up. I want to know how you did, and if you have any suggestions to update it. Peace out.